Richard, I told my granddaughter the other day I needed a pose.
Cute. Oh man, very nice.
Yeah, I got
That's
show
nice. Very nice.
I
That's
told
what
my
it's
granddaughter
about.
I needed a picture the other day.
Oh, okay.
So she had her pajamas on and had her Little Mermaid dress on over it. She's so funny.
Very nice.
So funny. She's a mess. Got a grandson, new grandson picture in here too. He hit 2 months the other day. He's a cutie, I tell you.
He looks pretty good size for 2 months.
Yeah, he's
looks
what'd
like
she
he's-
tell me? 10 pounds, 13 ounces, 21 inches long. So, yeah, he's not a little fella, but his daddy's 6'4".
Oh, okay.
He's not a little fella either. Donnie, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna run get a pen. I forgot a pen on the desk. Oh, that's all right. I better go get mine. That blue ink, that's mine. Okay.
Guess I forgot to. Thought I plugged it back. Well, I know it was plugged back in. Maybe the plug wasn't plugged into the plug.
Okay, we ready?
Yes, sir.
You ladies ready? Okay, it's 6 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting of the Tarrant County Emergency Services District Number 1 to order. The invocation will be given by Executive Director Fire Chief Russell Shelley.
All right. Pray with me. Father God in heaven, thank you for this day and for all that you do for us each and every day. We ask you to watch over us tonight and ask you to guide this board in their decision-making, God, that there would be discernment and wisdom used in making decisions for the betterment of the ESD. We ask you to watch over our crews in the field and their families while they're away, and be with us throughout this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, if you'll continue standing, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
On honor of the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. Okay, we have a presentation on the January 2026 financial report.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you saw in the briefing, you have a very comprehensive report from our CFO, Jen Hilburn. Our team, both finance and HR, continue to work with UKG and Tyler Technologies. UKG is the payroll company, and Tyler Technology is the overall HR finance software company. Eventually, it will all be with Tyler, but UKG is our stopgap for payroll services until Tyler is up and running towards the end of this calendar year. And they can speak to the details of what they're going through, but they spend several hours a week online uploading data, answering questions, talking about this and that to get the system going. And it's an entire process that I'm grateful I'm not having to sit through. So I'm very thankful to both of them for the work they've put in and continue to put in to get all that done. We have measured for gear and uniforms the next 57 employees that'll be coming online in April, and that's no small feat. for both of them as well in helping to coordinate and get those bills paid and all of that. So much to go. The tender for Briar was paid for this last time around. That was a large ticket item, as referenced on the list in the briefing as well. And we have completed ARPA reimbursements to all of the departments, and we are awaiting our reimbursement from the county for this last round. And I believe that's on the March agenda, Jen, is that correct?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, it's on the Commissioner's Court agenda for next month. So we should see that reimbursement, I would guess, towards the end of March.
Okay.
And that's $3-something million. It was a pretty good sized chunk of money. We've also asked the county to provide us with an exact balance once those disbursements are completed, so we will know exactly what's remaining that could be used by the ESD for the same types of equipment before the deadline that they established in, I think it was in December. They moved it to June 30th.
Okay.
So
I know there was ambulances that were outstanding, and you told us those are done.
that's correct.
But there was also some residual, some small stuff out there. Is that all done as well?
To our knowledge, they've all been submitted. Everman, I believe, was the last one with a personal protective equipment grant that they were still finishing up, and that's been submitted as well.
Cool.
Yep. Total money out a little over 2.5 million, and our text pool fund balances as they sit right now almost 19.6 million. Keeping in mind that we have about $3.5 million in reimbursement coming that's missing from that number as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, well, I guess one question that I've got, just as anecdotal information, since we are now almost 6 months into the budget year,
Sure.
how's the sales tax forecast? I know this month should be reflective of the big Christmas sales tax. So, I mean, are we online? I know we were pretty conservative in what we thought we were.
So
what are we at?
We estimated sales tax for FY26 at $1 million a month. So we estimated 12 million for this budget year. I know the first 3 months alone, we were coming in anywhere from 250 to almost 400,000 over our predictions. So we were approaching $1 million surplus in sales tax through the first quarter. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have not looked at it for January yet. It's been a crazy week and a half, and I haven't had a moment to look at it. And if I'm being completely honest, our board president usually sends it to me the day it comes out, and I don't remember what that number was for January. Do you recall, Donnie?
I don't remember the exact number. It was about 1.28, 1.29, but what I do remember, it was a 32% increase over the same month last year.
Well, and I know that since we were conservative, the overage that we're collecting in sales tax, I'm hoping can maybe offset some of these other expenses that we're seeing that we're
Indeed.
probably going to be talking about.
Yes, sir.
I'd almost, as we get into that, I'd like to, as we see these one-time expenses that weren't in the budget, weren't in the plan, try to have a recommendation, okay, how am I going to adjust the plan to address some of those?
Yes, sir. So I can speak to that now. With the surplus in sales tax, with our fund balance that we had being higher than we projected when the budget started, we have cash balance available to cover these one-time expenses that we're calling startup costs. And if you, we'll get into the investment reports here in just a moment, but you'll notice that we're maintaining right around that $21 million balance in our text pool accounts, despite all of the expenses we've seen so far. Now, obviously, our personnel and benefit costs are going to go up about 250% when April hits and we add those staff. But even still, we're in a good fiscal position where we don't need to worry too much about it. And besides all of that, anytime anybody in our organization asks to spend money, Jen tells them we don't have any and they can't spend it. So we're in a pretty good place with our reserves right now.
Thank you.
And Chief, can I also ask a question?
Yes.
So, just as you're speaking to the sales tax, is there a way that we can have a, addendum to our agenda budget briefing that would allow us to see it for each month, year to
Yep.
date? And then also, as we adjust to this new software, will we be able to see, year to date from the beginning of the budget, the monthly expenses on just at a glance with more, a little bit more, consistency so that we can see the expenditures and then, everything else too?
The short answer is yes. The quality of the reports that we'll be able to get out of Tyler once it's up and running, they are incredibly better than anything we can build in-house or do for you right now. QuickBooks is very limited. I know that Commissioner Kossovich spoke with Jen earlier today about a very similar report that he'd like to see. So our goal will be absolutely to move in that direction. It may take us some time because we're not going to be able to get that out of Tyler immediately, but we're going to get whatever we can out of QuickBooks for you in the interim, and we'll move forward from there. And as soon as those are available, we'll start providing that as part of the finance report every month. I'm used to having those budget reports and that monthly spending available to me as well as I'm trying to forecast what we need to do. And it is definitely a little disconcerting to not be able to have that available. I know we have adequate funds, and Jen and I talk often about that, but at the same time, having those reports available and posted where everyone can see them, that's certainly our goal from a transparency standpoint.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, are there any more questions from commissioners on the FY, or the January 26th financial report? Okay, item 5, Board of Commissioners comments and announcements. I guess for my part, I hope everybody knows that the Whiskey Flats grand opening and push-in ceremony is scheduled for February the 28th. We would certainly like to see a crowd out there, and you're certainly all invited. We'd like to see you there.
I'd just like to say that our fire engine looked really good at the safety convention. I was proud of that.
A lot of positive comments.
Look good.
A lot of positive comments.
Chief Mays did a really good job. Okay, item 6, discussion and possible action regarding the order of business or agenda items. Are all the commissioners okay with the order of business as is? I'll accept the motion.
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the order of business stands. Do we have anybody who signed up for public comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Item 8, the consent agenda. And I'll remind commissioners that the consent agenda does not require discussion. I'll read off each item that's on the consent agenda. If you have a issue with something being on the consent agenda, scream and we'll pull it off. Item A is approval of minutes of the January 13th, 2026 regular board meeting. Item B is approval of mutual aid agreement with the city of Burlington and authorize the board president to execute the agreement. Item C is approval of the FY 2025 Q4 investment report. Item D is approval of the FY 2026 Q1 investment report. Does anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda? I'll accept a motion then to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
We need a second?
Seconded.
Oh.
We don't have a second anymore. Something we learned at Safe Day. Okay, public hearings and other related items, we have none. Item 10, contracts, agreements, bid awards, and other related items. Again, there are none on the agenda. So we're down to item 11, action items. Item A is discussion and/or action on the designation of Human Resources and Administrative Services Manager as the Officer of Public Information for the district.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, these next two items are items that we too learned at Safety. We are required as an ESD to make these appointments and reflect them in our minutes for the historical records of the organization. And then the records management officer has to be reported to the Library and Archive Commission in Austin. And the comptroller has to have our investment officer information, which you, Mr. President, are our investment officer by board record. So many new things we learned while we were at Safety that will help us keep our business straight going forward. But this particular item, from a public information standpoint, when we get public information requests, Alicia generally handles those for us. But under the recommendation of the legal counsel at Safety, they recommend setting these up as the position, not as the specific person. So we're doing it by job title.
Okay.
And it's primarily just for public information requests.
Correct.
I mean, not kind of public information officer to where if there was a media request from TV
Right.
to ask for, hey, I need a response from the EST.
Correct.
We're not looking to that individual.
No.
Correct.
No, she's handled the administrative side of public information. If there were a PIO request like you're speaking to at an incident, if there were a political issue going on in the county, it would end up being myself or President Davis or one of the assistant chiefs that would fill that role.
So she doesn't get to drive a 911 vehicle to a fire scene or anything like that?
She does not. She asks often, but she does not get to drive one.
I tried her.
I'm working on it.
Okay, I will accept a motion to approve the designation of the Human Resources and Administrative Services Manager as the Officer of Public Information for the district.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. Item B, discussion and/or action on the designation of the Human Resources and Administrative Services Manager as the Records Management Officer.
In similar fashion for records management for the district, same thing, and we'll turn around and report this after the meeting tonight to the Library and Archive Commission.
Okay, I'll accept a motion to approve the designation of the Human Resources and Administrative Services Manager as the Records Management Officer.
All right. Also,
You so moved. All in favor?
Aye.
I was sitting here trying to think of the word too. Don't feel bad. Item C, discussion and/or action on a request to purchase protective clothing ensembles for all remaining new employees in the amount of not to exceed $450,000, using a cooperative purchasing and authorizing the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the board may recall, back in the early fall, we came to you prior to the Briar Station coming online, and the Whiskey Flat Station coming online, to purchase gear for those employees as they were new employees to the district coming from outside agencies, and that was also to purchase gear for the fire administration uniform personnel. That gear was received a couple of weeks ago. As we are moving forward with the startup of the next two stations in Rendon and Eagle Mountain, and not having adequate supply of protective clothing available to us for all of these new employees, also not having exact condition, age, useful life, all those things for that equipment, not knowing specifically what we have left, our recommendation to the board is that we go ahead and move forward with purchasing new protective clothing for all of our remaining personnel. The Briar personnel are included in this. The gear that they had, as we have gone on over the last several months, we've come to find that gear is serviceable, but it is older. It is going to be nearing the end of service life very soon, most of it. And with all of that in mind, we feel like it is just better to start with a clean slate of protective equipment for all employees, so we know the age and condition and have all the records on that gear, which we're required by the state to maintain. So we're proposing this at $450,000. I don't believe we will need to spend all that money, but I do think that it is good business on our part to come to you with a sum amount one time and not have to keep coming back to you should we have overages. And then we can, once everything is finished, we can report back what that actual dollar amount was.
And Chief, remind me, what's the lifespan of the protective gear per person?
So in general, the lifespan of the protective clothing is 5 years of frontline service and 5 years is backup gear. So what will happen is we will buy this gear now, and then we will be going into fiscal year 27 and beyond. We will start a replacement program where we buy so many sets a year, and then that gear will go in service, and what they're wearing at the time will become their backup gear. And over time, we will acquire backup gear for everybody and have that available. In the event they have a fire, they can change into their backup gear while their front line is laundered, and then they can put it back in service. And it just becomes a standard routine that all of them will be used to doing.
And so this is the last purchase until 2027, is what you're saying?
Should be the last protective clothing purchase until we start the replacement program with the next year's budget.
I understand.
But in the near term, the Briar gear that you were referencing earlier, that would be replacement gear.
Yeah, we'll be buying them new gear as well, and what they have now will become backup gear for them.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners?
Well, I just had another comment as you go forward with the financial impact. We talk about go to the next, I guess, the next slide, or is it in the bottom? Okay, on the action item where you have the within the agenda, you've got the background information, then you have the financial impact, then you got legal review, and the requested action.
Correct. You were asking about a budget impact
Yeah,
statement.
that's what I'd like to, besides just the expense,
Sure.
kind of what the impact is, especially if it wasn't included in the financial plan.
Right.
How we're gonna try to
Right.
address that. And if
So-
it's a variance and we're gonna have to take it out of the reserves or whatever, I was just gonna
Right.
want to get your recommendation as to, besides the cost, what is the budget impact for each one of these action items that we
Right.
go through?
So what I can tell you, Commissioner, is item C, D, and E, those three amounts combined, we're gonna fund those from our cash reserve and the surpluses that we're seeing in the sales tax this year. So they're not within the line item budget for FY 26, but again, we're talking about one-time startup costs to get all of the stations open. And we're funding it from those reserves and surpluses.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Any
Any
other
other
questions or comments? Then I will accept a motion to approve the purchase of protective clothing ensembles for all remaining new employees in an amount not to exceed $450,000 using cooperative purchasing and authorizing the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item C is approved. Item D, discussion and/or action on a request to purchase firefighting equipment and supplies for the Rendon and Eagle Mountain Station in an amount not to exceed $1.6 million and authorize the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've had some changes to this agenda item in the last 24 hours with the tentative agreement with Eagle Mountain coming to the surface yesterday and reevaluating the assets that we'll be procuring from Eagle Mountain with the transition. I asked Chief Mays to rework that budget today, accounting for the items we would be getting from Eagle Mountain, and he feels confident that we can lower this max number down to $1 million for the remaining equipment we may need in Rendon. We'll talk more about the station transitions in executive session tonight, but we are confident that we can lower this 1.6 to 1 million and be comfortable there to buy any remaining fire equipment we may need to finish getting these stations open.
Okay. Any questions or comment from commissioners?
My question.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve the purchase of firefighting equipment and supplies for the Rendon and Eagle Mountain Station in an amount not to exceed $1 million and authorize the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item D is approved. Item E, discussion and/or action on a request to purchase EMS equipment and supplies for the Rendon and Eagle Mountain Fire Station in an amount not to exceed $320,000 and authorize the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, with the agreement we're working on with Eagle Mountain for obtaining all of their assets, I asked Chief Brown to do the very same thing with our EMS equipment, and he has reworked that and given the ambulances and the major component EMS equipment such as cardiac monitors and so forth that we will be obtaining from Eagle Mountain. He has come back to me with a number at $180,000 instead of $320,000 as an adequate budget to finish out any supplies and equipment we may need for EMS and Rendon.
Okay. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Okay.
I have one.
Okay.
Do you need, is there like any in case, monies as far as like something coming up that you don't see?
Honestly, I think the 180 is that for us. We are obtaining 5 ambulances in the Eagle Mountain transaction, and there's quite a bit of equipment that's coming with those, plus all of the supplies that they have in their stock currently. So with this 180, we feel like this will cover what we need to get Rendon started up and any unexpected costs that may be there. We also still have a line item budget within the 26 budget for EMS supplies that we can lean on if we have an overage there that we need a secondary fund to cover it. Yeah. But I appreciate you thinking in that direction, though.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, then I will make a motion to request approval for the purchase of EMS equipment and supplies for the Rendon and Eagle Mountain Fire Stations in an amount not to exceed $180,000 and to authorize the executive director to move forward with the purchase.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is approved.
Thank you.
Item F, discussion and/or action on scheduling a special board meeting to discuss and review the Tarrant County ESD1 5-year strategic plan and financial forecast to be presented by the Executive Director, Fire Chief Shelley.
Thank you, sir. We are looking at 3 dates in March for having a workshop on our strategic plan, financial forecast, and our long-term capital funding plan. The 3 dates that we have earmarked for your consideration are March 24th, March 25th, or March 31st. We picked dates that were beyond what we thought would be the typical weeks where spring break might be happening. Never know when Commissioner Cosseras may be headed off to Disney World with all his grandkids, so we wanted to be sure we were
I think it's
outside of
Cabo
that.
this year.
Yeah,
Cabo this year.
Yeah,
Man.
there you go.
Man, I need to be one of your grandkids.
No, Turks and Caicos is the one we're going.
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's even better. So those are the 3 dates, and if those don't work for the board, then certainly we're open to other options. I dare to mention we could do a Saturday morning if the board desired to do so. I try to stay away from everyone's weekends as much as we can, but I also know that a likely 3 to 4 hour discussion in the evening is a long day for everyone.
So you're talking about the 24th, 25th, or 26th of March, starting at 6 p.m.
24, 25, or 31.
31st.
Oh, 24, 25, or 31. Okay.
Correct.
And going from roughly 6 p.m. to,
I'm going to guess we're probably 3 to 4 hours to get through that whole discussion.
okay. Do we have to pick a date tonight or just approve the concept of one of those 3 dates is going to happen?
We can do it either way. It would help us from a planning standpoint to know exactly what day, and then obviously with posting and everything else to know that as soon as possible. I did speak to Commissioner Heiskell this afternoon and gave her all of the dates for this item and the budget workshops, and she has saved all of those days in her calendar so that whatever the board picked tonight, she would have that available.
Any
I'm-
date works for me.
Yeah, I'm good with all these 3 dates,
Okay.
for the 24th,
You gotta
25th,
pick
and
one.
31st. How about,
Commissioner
well,
Jones, you have
how
to pick.
about your dates?
I have no idea.
They're in the evening, Commissioner, so I don't think golf or pickleball is gonna be an interference
okay.
for you. We should be, we should be good.
I'm open.
How about the 31st?
The chair recognizes Alicia.
Thank you. We do have an employee who will be out on the 25th.
Okay,
An employee who will be out when?
The 25th
25th.
Okay, so the 24th or
and the
31st.
24th.
I think Commissioner Moore recommended the 31st. I'm good with the 31st.
I'm good with 31st.
I'm good with 31st.
Sounds like March 31st. We'll do a 6 o'clock start.
Okay, since it's an action item, do we have to have a motion and approval?
I think you should.
Okay. I will accept a motion to approve a special board meeting to discuss and review the Tarrant County ESD1 5-year strategic plan and financial forecast to be presented by Executive Director Fire Chief Shelley on March 31st at 6 p.m.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, discussion and or action on scheduling the FY27 budget workshop.
Your staff will be starting the budget process internally in March, and we hope to have a draft budget put together by mid-April, and would like to have 2 budget workshops with the board, one in late April, one in late May, to finalize our operating budget for FY27. And the dates that we have for those are April 28th through the 30th, any one of those evenings, and then also May 19th through the 21st. And in April, we have moved the board meeting from the 14th to the 21st due to the Texas Fire Chiefs Conference on the week of the 14th. So it would be doing back-to-back meetings if we do 21 and 28, but we can certainly accommodate on any one of those 3 nights.
Okay, I'm sorry, say that again. So we moved the April meeting to what date?
The 21st,
21st? And your proposal for the budget workshop in April is when?
28 to 30 for the first one, and then May 19th to the 21st for the second one.
I'm sorry.
And those aren't critical to decide tonight, but I know that some of your calendars fill up quickly and some of you travel quite a bit. So I felt it in our best interest to get those on the books as soon as possible so they're locked in.
How do we want to work this? Does everybody want to agree a date tonight, or do we want to?
I'm good in the 3 dates in April. I'm looking for May right now.
And as I said before, Commissioner High School's good with all 6 days as well. They were all open on her calendar.
I'm not gonna be able to do May 21st, but I can do May the 19th.
Okay.
No, I thought it was May 29th to 30th.
19th to the 21st on May. This is the 28th to the 30th of April. Any of those 3 nights.
What if we keep it on Tuesday and do the 28th?
Okay.
Do y'all like that?
April 28th is good.
So April 28th for the first one. And we'll do a 6 p.m. start on that as well. And then we had one conflict on May 21st, but that leaves the 19th and 20th of
If you
April.
wanna do them every Tuesday, you could
Do
do
the
that.
19th.
Okay, does that work for everybody? And again, that's 6 p.m. to
Yes, sir.
whenever. Okay.
Yeah. I would think a couple of hours is probably adequate to get through the operating budget, especially doing these right after the strategic plan, which is going to cover a lot of the big capital items anyway.
That was May.
Yeah, May 19th at 6 p.m.
The first one is April 28th.
Yeah.
So are we good with those dates?
Yes, I'm not sure I'll be here that week, but I'll make every effort if I can.
Okay. Then I will accept a motion to approve a scheduling of an FY 2027 budget workshop on April 28th at 6 PM and May 19th at 6 PM.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, briefing items. Item A is Whiskey Flats Temporary Fire Station grand opening and push-in ceremony update.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've got a tentative order of events for you here. President Davis will make some remarks, and we have a representative coming from State Representative McQueenie's office that will also make some remarks. And we've got feelers out for a color guard to come and present the colors that morning at the event as well. We're just waiting to lock down exactly who that's going to be, so we'll get that updated as soon as we can. And then we'll have the uncoupling ceremony and the ceremonial washing of the engine before we push it into the fire station. Be a gas pedal assisted push into the fire station so we don't cause any hernias that
I
morning.
don't want no lost time injuries.
That's
I
correct.
think we have a volunteer to be in the driver's seat.
I'm sorry, I can't see back that far. But we're excited. Feel like we've got the food situation figured out with some barbecue, and I know that Alicia and Jen have been doing some planning. They've purchased some items to give away to those that come that morning. So we're excited to have our first grand opening and push-in ceremony. I know that the team that is working out of the Whiskey Flats station is excited. They're doing a great job down there. They have really been accepted by the community, and I have never seen so much community support for a fire station as we've seen in the 2 months that they've been open later this week. I've been down to have lunch a couple of times with them, and there have been folks stop by and visit every time I've been there. So they're having walk-in visitors on a regular basis, which is really neat.
I've seen their treat table. We're gonna have some diabetic firemen down there.
That's why they have such a large workout area to take care of all of that. But yeah. Any other questions on the push-in ceremony or the open house?
Great artwork.
Yep. Okay, item B is a briefing on the safety conference.
Just a quick recap. We had 5 staff members and 3 board members that attended the conference. A lot of positive comments back from our admin staff. It was a good experience for everyone. It's like every conference. Some of the presentations were better than others, but there was some good information, and as was reflected in our agenda tonight, some things we didn't know we needed to do that we did, and it gave us all some direction on some unknowns, and that's always helpful. And we're excited to see what next year will hold. That conference is going to be in Round Rock at the Kalahari Resort. I believe it was there a couple of years ago.
Last year.
That was our first one.
Okay. So going back there, was curious, any feedback from the board or anything you might have learned that you wanted to share with everybody while you were there?
My comment is, this is my second safety conference. I didn't know what I didn't know at the first one, and I was drinking from the fire hose. I learned a lot, but I learned so much more at this one than I did the last one. So I think the administrative staff, you thought it was good this time. You'll think Kalahari is even better because you'll be a year into the job. You'll know
Right.
more what you don't know. The big thing, and I'm talking to the audience now, the big thing that I got out of the safety conference is there's some real clouds on the horizon that are going to affect fire safety in terms of funding. And it's going to be municipal and ESD across the board. Things like the governor wants to get rid of the ad valorem tax. What that does to funding fire safety is going to be a real problem. So safety has got a real movement to make sure our voice gets heard at the state legislature. And I think that's real important that we support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, just to follow on with what President Davis said, it was a great conference. You seemed like you learn more each time you go again. And so the other thing that is always important to me for these type of industry type conferences is being able to network with other ESD, individuals, and you're able to compare notes as to what they're doing, what we're doing. I will tell you, being part of the Tarrant County ESD #1, our leadership is great. And I'm just proud of being part of our team, because when you listen to some of the things that they're doing, we're getting off the ground, but we are really doing a lot of things.
Yes,
and
sir.
a lot of things right. And so again, thank you to you and your team. And it was just a real proud moment for me to be a part of that.
Yes, sir. Well, I assure you, we are blessed with a great team. A mediocre fire chief and a great team gets things done. So I try to thank them often, but I appreciate you acknowledging them tonight. Anything else on safety? Anybody from the staff that went? Anything you want to share with the group?
Okay.
All right. So what I got from that is Alicia is caught up until next year's conference.
Well, one last thing is next year's conference is in Round Rock, but in 28, it's in Fort Worth. Yes. No, so we're going to have to step up our game and be front and center at that conference.
Yeah, we really should think
Yes.
about doing something
Sure.
to support the conference. I mean,
Yes.
something out of the ordinary.
Yes.
I know some folks that'll make that happen.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, that's the briefing on item B. Item C, website update.
So Alicia has started gathering information for updates. We are working also on the future home of signs for our fire station sites. Once we have some elevations, some floor plans and so forth, those will be uploaded to the website where the QR codes on those signs will take the user back to the website and that information. The signs are out here in the lobby. If you didn't get to see them, want to see one in person, the Whiskey Flat sign is where you can see it. And we're going to get those up again in the next few weeks, just as soon as we have them. We want to make sure the website update is done first, and that's just taking some time with Steele and Freeman and RPGA to get those documents in our hands, and then we'll get those up and live. And then the goal will be that we provide updates on those websites as we move through the process on each station. So working on that. This is some of the other areas that we're looking at adding to the website. It's going to end up probably being really a full revamp of this. We just talked about this some in staff meeting this morning, and Alicia's going to begin working on this more and more in the weeks to come. So just keep an eye on the website going forward. You're going to start seeing some changes pretty soon.
Okay. Item D, fire operations update.
Again, just a quick few things. There are many, many more things going on beyond what you see right here. I just wanted to give you kind of a quick 30,000-foot update on what's going on with Chief Mays and the Fire Operations Division. Still working through equipment needs list. Chief Mays spent a large amount of time today working through invoices on just radios, trying to make sure that everything we're paying is accurate and we're not double paying for anything, because again, we're starting with nothing. So getting all that up and running, and he and Captain Maroney have been working through our equipment lists and the equipment on fire trucks and the large ticket items that we need for fire stations, like breathing air compressors and bunker gear laundering equipment and so forth. Just making sure that we're identifying what all those needs are and what we may be getting from some of the transition departments versus what we're not getting and need to go outside and order. What's the lead time on that equipment, and so on and so forth. So a lot of work on loose equipment. Staff had a meeting on Monday with ISO, just a tentative meeting to get the ball rolling with them. They have given us kind of our marching orders on the information that they're going to need in order to start an evaluation of of the ESD as a freestanding fire department.
Does
So
that start the clock back a year, or does that continue the process?
this initial meeting doesn't start that. I think, without being critical of anyone, there's been some erroneous information that's been shared with some of the homeowners about exactly when clocks start. The ISO representative that came out was going to go back to his superiors and see if we can't find a workaround that would allow specifically the Whiskey Flat station to be included as an additional station for the Crescent and Benbrook areas that they're now covering, and run it that way temporarily until we get our own freestanding evaluation done. He wasn't certain we could do that, but he was going to go back and check and see what kind of a workaround we might have available. Chief Mays, anything you want to add on that?
No, essentially starting the process now, and we could have a rating by the end of the year, which is a lot sooner than the last answer they gave.
Okay, but in the interim, we're hoping to leverage like what Chief Tate has in Benbrook, and
We're hoping that they would recognize our station, and that the areas that Benbrook and Crescent covered, we would now be responding into their district, and since we're the closest within 5 miles, it would help them under Benbrook score. So.
okay.
It's truly a workaround that's outside the norm of how ISO does their ratings. So we're just going to have to wait and see what Jeff comes back with when we get to that point. But
Any guess what are you shooting for here? If right now, Whiskey Flats is a 10?
An 8.
Okay.
yeah, the lack of a consistent water supply is the big hit we're taking. I mean, the fire equipment's going to be there. The right equipment on the fire engines will be there. The dispatch capabilities will be there. But the water supply rating is 40% of that grade. And when you're relying on tanked in water to do that, those values are minimal compared to a water system. So
But if we have multiple tenders, isn't there a way to get around that eventually?
you can get more points by having a water shuttle system, but it's still not going to be the same rating as if you had an actual water system in the ground.
Okay.
It will be a better rating, but still not what a municipal water supply is going to provide in a typical city.
They have a new model that they're working to be more technologically advanced. It's saying, here's where the tender or water's coming from, and they'll be able to be more specific, so it's just changing technology right now.
Okay.
Renovations in Briar and Whiskey Flats are ongoing. We've had to do some additional electrical work down in Whiskey Flats to accommodate our gear laundering equipment that's going in down there. The electrical system rewire in Briar is nearing completion, and they started on the new septic system. We finally got all the I's dotted and T's crossed with the water board and the county and everyone to be able to get the septic system underground where it needs to be. So excited to report that and getting that done. Since we last met, your staff have completed literally dozens of interviews and job offers, and we have filled out the rosters for Rendon and Eagle Mountain and our first 3 shift battalion chiefs. So next month, I will share with you who those new battalion chiefs are. They have not made that announcement in their current departments yet, so we're gonna hold off a little while longer in sharing that information. But suffice it to say that our 3 incoming battalion chiefs, who will be the shift commanders on each of the 3 fire shifts, the 3 of them combined are going to be north of 90 years experience in the fire service. So we're very excited to get the 3 of them on board and overseeing our shifts and serving as our incident commanders in the field.
So these battalion chiefs will be responsible for all of the stations, not one individual station?
Correct. You'll have a captain on each fire crew at each station to manage the day-to-day for that station, and the battalion chief will oversee the operations of the whole shift.
Okay.
They'll be responding across the district on all structure fires and major incidents where that incident commander may be needed.
Okay.
In addition to all the administrative things like time off and discipline and training and all the things that have to be managed, all the people things.
What is the ETA on some kind of a ceremony for the Briar Station?
I would think that we probably could plan that for towards the end of March or the first part of April.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable. I'm not 100% certain what the timeline for finishing the septic is, but we want to make sure that's all done. And this week, there you go. So we can probably plan it towards the end of next month. It's just gonna be making sure we have enough time to advertise that and get our dignitaries involved that want to be there and so forth.
Cool.
Okay.
Any questions or comments from commissioners?
I guess one question that
Yes, sir.
I'd like to get your recommendation and start, I guess, thinking about it is when we get to getting our folks and they're fully operational, some kind of dashboard that we can see on a monthly basis, you know, number of calls, response time.
Yep.
Things of that nature that we can see as part, just like we have our financial plan. I'd
Yes,
almost
sir.
like to have an operational dashboard that we could see on that.
You see that guy standing up back there? He's literally working on that hours a day right now. That is our new records management software. The software's called First Due. That software will provide reports that we will provide to the board just as soon as we get it all operational. We just went live with that software with both of our existing fire stations on February 1st. So that incident data is now being tracked. So stay tuned, it's coming.
Okay.
And Jeff, how much longer probably to get everything with First Due finished, our integration and setup?
The entire thing, it'll probably take close to the end of the year, but the more important things, we're pretty close to having the EMS side of it, the EPCR module set up. Maroni is working with assets, I'm working with scheduling, so those were the main important ones that we want to get up and running, so I'm hopeful that maybe in the next 8 weeks.
We'll have all the major components live. Perfect.
April 1 was the go, the
Yeah.
target with time Brendan and
Okay.
Eagle Map.
How live will that data be? Will it be right now, or will it be, you gotta wait for some kind of a report at the end of the month or something like that?
As soon as the crew enters the run report, we have access to it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's one of the reasons we went live February 1st, to give them that learning curve time, because it is a brand new system for most of these folks. They've never, it's a new learning experience for me. I've never used First Loop. And so we're getting over some of those hurdles with user interface right now with the crews. So hopefully, by the time Eagle Mountain and Rendon go online, we will have enough experience with it that transition for those folks will go a lot quicker than going online. But as soon as the crew enters the data and it's complete, we have access to it.
Okay.
That becomes part of our public information as well when we have a fire and they need that report for their insurance and so forth. We'll be able to provide that just as quick as that report is completed.
Okay.
So
And this is gonna give us like, hot zones. What's our EMS response time in this part of the county versus that part of the county? So we can make calls on where we need to make investments, things like same on fire.
it has a very robust reporting component of reports we can pull out of it. And then you can also work through their tech support to customize those reports to whatever we need as a provider. So I'm confident we'll be able to get whatever we need out of that software that the board would like to see.
I started asking for that in 2022, so thank you.
You're gonna have it in your hand sometime in 26. I'm not giving you a day right now, but
Good. Well, I just like to have a dashboard.
Yes, sir.
Just, you know, at a high level, you know, just for that, because you do a great job, and so y'all be able to take care of the details. I just like, just from a
dashboard as to
You bet.
how we're looking at it.
We want to see that data as well. Certainly it will drive our direction as far as when we implement the next resource ads and so forth. So, it's definitely a need. This was one of the things that was identified in the Fitch study, the inconsistency of the data collection. So getting to a single source of software for that data is crucial to us being consistent.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Then we'll move on to the EMS operations update.
Very, very quick update here. So the rebuttal items to the state for our EMS provider license, which is our license to operate ambulances, those were submitted end of December. Is that correct, Chief? And we literally got a notice from Austin today saying that everything we submitted had been reviewed and passed and moved on to the regional office in Arlington for their review, and then they will schedule an inspection of our ambulance, the ambulance that we purchased a few months ago that's already been branded with the Rendon logo and everything on it. That ambulance will be fully outfitted and available for the state to come in and inspect, and once that inspection is passed, then we should just be days away from having our license. We're hoping to have that by the end of this month.
Excellent. Okay.
Great job.
Yeah. Great job, Chief Brown.
Continuing to work on credentialing personnel, our EMS continuing education program with our medical director, having all these new staff coming on. Those employees are going to have 12 hours of protocol training and credentialing that they're each going to have to go through in order to be authorized by the medical director to work under their license. So we'll be getting all of that scheduled towards the end of March, right as those teams are getting ready to start. And that is no small task to get 57 people through all of that. And kudos to Chief Brown and Chief Florence who are getting that all scheduled and coordinated. It is going to be a big task to get all that done. We do have some EMS transport contingency plans with both fire department providers and private providers for the Rendon area that we've had conversations with, some of those during networking opportunities at Safety. So we have some plans in place should they be needed down in Rendon. I really think we're going to be okay and be ready to go. With the agreement with Eagle Mountain, we're going to have adequate ambulance resources to get up and started. So that was the big question, was having the units, and now we're going to have those. So I think we're good, but just know that we do have some contingency plans in place if we were to need them.
Good.
And then Chief Brown was also involved in many of those interviews, and Chief Florence as well. We were interviewing firefighter paramedics and single role paramedics, so we had our two EMS guys in there giving them the third degree a little bit and making sure they knew their stuff. And we are confident we've put together a good team for those two stations with both existing employees in those departments that are coming to work for us and the new employees that we've hired from other agencies. I think we're going to have a really good team. Excellent. You'll have a total of 30 personnel assigned at Rendon and 27 for Eagle Mountain. So
That's our total head count now. What will it be as of April?
Operationally, 87, I believe, is our number, and overall with admin, we'll be at 96.
Let's go, man.
96. I'm going with 96, but don't hold me accountable. It might be 97.
I'd bet money it's 96.
It probably is. And thank you for making that statement publicly, Chief Mays. You get so much joy out of calling me Rain Man for the last 25 years.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to take the Tarrant County ESD 1 into executive session at 6:58 p.m.
little, Eminem,
Yeah.
it was about the size of, big around for a coffee cup, but you know, it had little arms, legs hanging out at the little round.
Yeah.
And I had a picture of him.
Put it on
Load
there.
up, I put it on there, hung it from the, fire truck. Just so happened they had made this, and his wife was out there with him. I said, hey, come up here, sit in this truck. And his picture was hanging down.
Saw it, that's great.
Yeah.
Firehouse pranks are my favorite. So good. So
Okay, I'm gonna bring this session of Tarrant County ESD number 1 back into session from executive session at 7:52 PM. Do we have a motion on how to proceed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to proceed as deliberated in executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's our agenda. Folks, we're adjourned.